Marty. Pendles, we're there.
Pendles,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Tough loss on the weekend, but as a bystander, with no interest, in either club, not in a bad way. What a game of football, jeez.
Yeah, you could. I had a big smile on my face even when we were doing like the national anthem because the buzz was just.
I actually saw you do that, and
I sort of just was looking around, taking it all in. I was like, I can barely see like a free seat here.
And the captain coach hug then was really great. I love that. That was a good proper man hug. It was like, have fun. I'm going to have fun. You have fun.
Yeah, it was almost that because I was just like, how good is this? There's 92. I don't know. It's almost like I could sense that this was going to be an awesome game and it was going to be fun. And yeah, it was. From start to finish, it had some amazing moments. Highlighted probably by Ash Johnson's goal from the boundary, and then Jesus Cameron sort of said,
"Unbelievable,
I can top that." Watch this. And then there was just some moments where you
was copping an absolute spray over the fence from the Collingwood people.
Not
well.
Collingwood people. They would
surely
not they would have been wishing him all well.
But neutrals.
But it was really intense football. It was just the pressure on the ball and the pressure on the man was just elite.
Yeah, I think it's all the things you want to see in finals football in our game and across the whole finals. The first week of finals, that's got to be one of the better first weeks of the finals in history of the game, I reckon.
Easily.
And I think the difference between the guys playing footy now and the blokes that's years over is that pressure, that intense pressure that comes with your Collingwoods, your Geelongs, your Sydneys. That pressure on the ball is winning football games.
Yeah, well, Sydney, I think they're ranked number 1 in the pressure stakes in the comp, and they took it right up to Melbourne. We're ranked 2, and then Melbourne, one of the better contested ball sides, and so Geelong. So there's just so many elements. And even speaking to a couple of our guys that have never played finals, they just couldn't believe the intensity from start to end. They sort of said it almost felt like a close game from the start of the game, like the last 10 minutes of a fourth quarter. It had that feeling from the first bounce.
When you have that pressure in the playing group, what's that look like for you guys? So one man's going in hard at the ball. Is there a pattern that 3 or 4 of you are hanging out a little bit wider? What's the structure there, or is it just a sort of a feel it?
Love this from you, getting into the tactics. That was great. No, I think in finals football, it's simply it's the old, if you take a photo of where the ball is, if we've got 6 guys and they've got 5, that's a good thing for us because we've got the extra number at the contest. And then, if you're close enough, go pressure the ball. Don't think too much about what you're doing. Just go pressure. And if I don't get you, the next bloke coming in will type attitude. And I reckon throughout the whole finals, if you take photos of those moments, the outnumber battle is really important.
Well, there was one at the very end which led to the Holmes goal that ultimately decided the match. How does that sort of thing unfold? Was it just a matter of a lot of blokes being cooked at that point in the game?
Yeah, I haven't seen how it sort of eventuated. There'd be some stuff that we would have done where off ball we didn't work hard enough or things like that, and sticking tackles, little bits and pieces like that we probably need to clean up in that regard to get, because they had a +1 out the back of us. So we'd like to clean that up moving forward. And we had our chances in the end, and so did they. Crispy kicked the point from 40 out. Dakes kicked one out in the full, and we had our chances. And I think their little bit of experience played a part. But even the goal that Rohan kicked, we win a centre clearance. They take a great contested mark and root it straight down the middle. And then Rohan takes an amazing contested mark.
It was.
And punishes it from outside 50. I was on the mark and he kicked it, turned around and was like, that has just gone gun barrel straight.
Yeah.
Flush. I was like, that's going to be a goal.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I saw Goey kicked a couple, and then I saw you say well done to him. Then you ran away from him, and then you went back to him and said something. Can you remember what that was?
Yeah, we're talking about just the passage of play a little bit earlier that I just wanted to clean up with him. Just more structural stuff between me and him that we need to get sorted, and it eventuated when he did kick the goal, the following bit of play, but we probably had an opportunity before that to almost mimic that bit of play.
Right.
But we just left a little bit early, the contest that we're at. So we just cleaned that up. But he played a phenomenal game.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because there's I could hear it all week, the people like, he's got to stand up for Collingwood. He's got to play this great game. And then he does, and then no one says anything.
Exactly.
No.
Oh, it doesn't matter because you didn't win. It's like, mate, we had some really good guys that played. Darcy Moore was exceptional.
Yeah.
Geordie was near the best player on the ground to play like he did, especially after hurting his shoulder in, the opening 10, 15 minutes. So, it was just it's a privilege to be out there playing in such a.
It was
awesome
wonderful
game.
to watch. It really was. You had a belter as well.
Quick, interesting stat. So between you and Joel Selwood, you combined to have the most experienced captain combination in the history of the game.
Oh, that's a fun stat.
Yeah, 707. That's from Swamp on Twitter.
707, and he played well too.
Yeah, he played really well. So I feel like as I said, it was a privilege to be out there, and look, we're on the wrong side of the result this time, but I feel like we played really well, and so did they, and that's what you want in finals football.
So you get Freo now?
Yeah, we get Freo on Saturday night here. So
good.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't put the horse before the cart, but you feel like that's winnable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in finals you go into every game feeling like it's winnable. But I remember I briefly checked the scores. I think when I got to the club and it was 42-1.
Yeah.
And I was like, Bulldogs have jumped Freo here big time. And then I got home and it's like 10 points difference. So I sort of sat there glued to the screen for the last half of that game. And as I said before, the whole final series just had that feel where you couldn't take your eyes off the TV because
it was wonderful.
Yeah, the lead changes. Even the Brisbane-Richmond game, that was I think that broke the record, didn't it, for lead changes?
17 lead changes.
That's ridiculous.
Let's come back and talk more footy. Yes, and we were just talking about Petracca's injury. You've had a similar injury?
Yeah. I've had I've broken my leg, or both legs, twice.
Oh my
so
God!
Really? So I've had a hairline fracture.
Which is that what he's got?
I think it's similar. So mine was right at the top of the fib.
Yeah.
And it felt like a really bad corky. And one of the boys was saying in the game when they seen him start to rub it, I almost was like, I think he might have cracked his leg here because he kept reaching for something that wasn't there. And I know that feeling, like you're reaching and you're looking,
thinking,
like, that's a corky, but it doesn't feel like a corky because there's not like this big contusion there.
And what's the pain like? Sort of like for him this weekend. What will the pain be like if he plays?
It drops off significantly. I remember mine. I did mine, and then I actually played until half time, and then I got subbed out because we were winning by about 10 goals. And they're like, let's have a look at it tomorrow. And I was as shocked as anyone when it come back with a crack at the top of my bone. And then, I tried to sort of plead with the doc, and I was like, look, I don't feel any pain really. Like I can train fully, and I tried to prove it to him, but he was like, stage of the year, we're going well. I think we're on top. He's like, you need to just give this time to heal properly. And then, as I was saying just before, it's funny because I'm a big American sports guy. If this was American sports, like this is your franchise guy who's on a 7-year deal.
Yeah.
Like the risk versus reward right now is something they have to weigh up. Like, is it? Because what happens if he gets another hit?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. And their doctors would obviously take all this thing into to account. But it's just, it's crazy because, you just don't want to. Yeah, he's got 7 years, this guy.
And it seems like it's a bit of a badge of honour how quickly some of these blokes can come back sometimes.
Yeah, I remember first final 2009, Lee Montagna slid into my leg, broke my leg, like clean break through the middle. I had surgery that night.
Oh, Jesus.
I tried to play 12 days later.
Are you joking?
I remember I had a plate in my leg, 6 screws, a metal plate. I fully trained 9 days post-surgery.
That's ridiculous.
Even that is amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna be able to do this. Like, so I trained, and it was.
Is that just power of the mind?
Yeah, and power of the plate in your leg as well.
And the painkillers.
But then the next day I woke up and it was like my leg was like a balloon.
Yeah, right.
And then I had to jump off a box and land on my broken leg
to
see if I tried to land on the other leg to trick the fitness guy, but that didn't work. And he goes, "Nah, you got to land on your broken leg." And I said, "I can't, mate." But
I know Carey's talked about this. Wayne Carey's talked about later in life what it means when you push through these injuries in your playing days and the repercussions that follow up from that, whether or not, like a Petracca, you sometimes have to take the decision out of the player's hands because he'll put his hand up and say he's ready to go.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. You got to protect the player from themselves. Like no player is going to say, "I'm not
at this time of year
right to go."
No way.
But it's just. Yeah, it's a broken bone. As I said, their doctors know better. But I would hate the worst thing possible is if he got a similar hit and then it was worse injury and I don't know, heaven forbid he had to miss like 6 months or 12 months because of it. I don't know. They weigh that all up, and as I said, they'll make a really informed decision. But it's just so Either way, it's just like. Yeah, I think as you said and as Wayne Carey said, you got to protect the player from himself.
So I think so. It's a pain thing. It's not a pain thing. It's more of a risk mitigation thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of a risk thing. I don't think
he'll get through the pain.
I don't think the pain will be that bad. But because he obviously it happened pretty early in the game, and he played the whole way through.
Very
so if it's going to hurt, it's going to hurt the most there and then.
He faded out a bit in the third
Yeah,
quarter, I think.
you could see every time he kicked it, it would almost jolt, and it hurt him, and he'd sort of limp around a little bit. So,
what is the pain? How are you managing the pain in those moments? Is it compartmentalising? Are you taking a couple of tablets and hoping?
I think in the time when it happens, because you don't know what it is, so you're running around. He probably thinks this is a corky, or this is probably a little bit worse than a corky, but I'm not sure.
Is it a distraction?
Yeah, absolutely. Because every step you take, you'll feel someone like sticking a knife in the back of your calf almost.
Yeah.
And then you get some pain medication, and that sort of helps a little bit. But then I'm assuming when they play Friday, I'm assuming Saturday he would have been really sore.
Yeah.
And then you start getting all the treatment and try and build yourself back up. And it'll be interesting to watch to see if he plays this week or has a week off, and hopes they can get it done without him, and then right for a prelim.
Did you watch much footy over the weekend, or did you?
I did. I watched it. I watched the Thursday, Friday night till about half time, and then I watched the last half of the Bulldogs. So
the Swans looked pretty strong.
They did. They their pressure game was unreal, and I thought early on when Melbourne were dominating, that their pressure actually helped them stay in the game. Kept it nice and tight, and then they found a way to sort of, once the game opened up, to use the ball a little bit better and cleaner and put Melbourne under some pressure. And I thought. Yes, sort of funny. They've been a little bit underrated, Sydney.
Yeah, I know. Then, I reckon John Longmire is one of the most underrated blokes ever in football.
Yeah, I think, and as a coach, he sort of seems that way too, though. He doesn't really make big statements, or he's always about the team. And I heard him talk after the game about just how consistent they're. So we probably didn't have any A graders today, but we had a lot of sort of B plus or whatever it was. So they're super consistent, and they're playing a really exciting brand of footy that does stack up in finals.
It was amazing. Buddy didn't fire. Heaney barely fired a shot. The McCartan brothers were okay. Just all their stars were quite quiet.
Yeah, but their midfield pressure and their high backs and high forwards, their ability to pressure Melbourne was outstanding. And it's that battle of contested footy versus pressure. And I felt like, take a photo, and the Sydney midfielders just kept turning up and pressure. And I know Buddy didn't have a great game, or Heaney, but they all have their moments. And when they had their moments, they make them count.
Yeah, the other one, Taylor Adams, of course, you won't be having him for the rest of the year, I imagine. So you were near him when he...
Yeah, I was sort of right behind him when he kicked, and then let out a big scream of pain. And I knew what he was going into the game with. And he trained really well for 2 weeks leading in, like flat out. So he was as confident as he could be. But then, he sort of slipped on the turf and then kicked the ball, and it was just... I don't know, it was the recipe for disaster for what he was dealing with. And then
feels like a lawsuit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm taking from this chat.
But poor bugger, like, he's done so much work to get back, and he was playing so well.
How long will that keep him out?
Yeah, I think
bugger his pre-season?
He won't play again for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
And then I think he'd be I think probably by like January he'll be right to go, so he can slow build, which is probably a good thing.
Have a
that
break.
It's not like a tiny little tear, and he's got like sort of a 2 week. Can I get back in 2 weeks? So mentally, it's
mentally he can just
it's
as
well, he's been
disappointing
dealing
as
with it for a while now. So mentally, that'd weigh a bit on your mind. But to lose a guy like Tay, who means a lot to us, it hurts. But now it gives, as cruel as it is, and we talked about it before going into the finals, is trying to keep the VFL guys going at our club is like opportunity. It'll present, or you never know when it's going to present. So make sure you're ready, and someone will have to step in and fill his shoes.
The other thing I heard the coach say was, don't lay down after the game. He didn't like that. He didn't like the look of it. We're not losers. Don't lay down. I think he's tied that idea of people laying down in with the losing idea.
You lost, but you're not losers.
So stand up. And that was the message post-game.
Yeah, I was the same out there. I was next to Steel Sidebottom and said to him, like, let's pick these boys up quick. Like, I didn't like the look of it either. Like, we had lost, but we weren't losers. I thought we should have
defeated.
Yeah, and as a team, what we're trying to stand for and what we're trying to build, I didn't like the look of it, but we got everyone up quickly and let's stay together. I think all year we've done that really well. Win or lose, when you see us, we're tight and we stay together.
You walked off as a team,
and we walked off tight, and we'll be back to fight another day for sure.
Well done. God, I'm loving footy at the moment. Really loving footy.
Collingwood Freo never met in a final.
Oh, is that a fact?
Until Sunday.
Till Saturday?
Oh, good luck, Freo, is all I'm saying.
We'll meet the night before.
Oh, we'll meet the night before, okay.
Well done, mate.
Cheers, thanks guys.